Hello, welcome back to my channel. The Korgs wanted to be in on the intro, so here they are. Today I'm talking about my educational journey from getting my undergrad to my master's degree and answering the question, was it worth it? So out of high school, I knew that I really liked working with other people. I really enjoyed talking with other people, helping people. And so it seemed like the right choice right out of high school. I thought, okay, I'm gonna go and become a nurse. That seemed like a job where I could work with people, help other people. And so that was kind of the direction I went. In that time, I was doing my prereqs to hopefully get into nursing school. And I was also getting a minor in psychology just because I found a lot of those classes interesting and thought, oh, I might as well get a minor as well. And in that time, I was working part-time for a healthcare system, and they had actually asked me if I would be willing to go to full-time to develop a program there. It was a really tough decision because if I went full-time, I knew that that was not going to be a possibility for me to go to nursing school. It was a difficult decision, but honestly, I kind of stepped back and realized like the classes that I was taking that were more pertinent to nursing, like microbiology, anatomy and physiology, I actually hated those classes. So that kind of helped me go, okay, well, I don't even really like the super nursing specific classes that I'm taking anyway. So I ended up changing my major from pre-nursing to psychology since I was already getting a minor in it. And I'm so glad I did. So I went full-time with the healthcare system, and then I was going to school full-time for psychology. And it was totally the right choice. I just found the classes so so super up my alley. It was really cool because it was the first time I was really given language around what I was experiencing, what I was seeing other people experiencing. And so there was just something really cool about that. So being in more of a corporate environment with the healthcare system I was working with was really interesting. I started working there when I was only 19. That would have been my sophomore year of college. It was really interesting because I always kind of felt like I didn't really fit in. Because I was so young, that was something I was really self-conscious about, where I had all these people who were much older than me, who really seemed like they had it figured out, they knew what they were doing, and I kind of almost felt like I was playing house or playing dress up, like I didn't really belong there. And one of the ways that I felt like I could gain more respect was by getting my master's degree after getting my undergrad. It seemed like in my organization that was really well respected if you had a higher education. The main reason I wanted to get my graduate degree was for that reason, honestly, was that so I could gain more respect. I thought that it would fix my insecurity of being young. I just never wanted education or lack of education to be the reason that I got held back from opportunities. And I had seen that happen in my organization where somebody was maybe really talented at what they did, but they didn't have higher education, so they weren't considered for positions that potentially they would have been really good at. And so I just never wanted to be in that situation where I was after an opportunity, but then didn't have the education to meet it, and that's what prevented me. And so those were honestly the two reasons why I wanted to get my graduate degree. And looking back, I don't know honestly if I would have made the same decision now that I did back then. I think back then I was searching for validation and confirmation that I was good enough, that I was smart enough, that I was capable enough. And I thought that by getting this degree, it would confirm that for myself. And I just hold my value and know my worth so much more now than I did back then. So it's hard to say now if I would make that same choice. And at the same time, I am really grateful I did it. It was really hard going for undergrad and grad school. It was really hard. Working and going to school full time was a challenge. Dylan and I got married. It would have been my junior year of college. So getting married, but we bought a house and right after we got married, going to school and working full time, like that was a lot. And I think looking back, I probably would have done some of that a bit differently. Just with like the timing of things, I probably wouldn't have done all of that all at once because it was a lot. And there was a season in our lives where we would literally go to work all day. We would come home, eat dinner really fast, do homework until we went to bed, and then repeat. And then the weekends were consumed with getting assignments done. There was always something kind of like living on my shoulder of like, oh, I need to make sure I do this. It could never really fully shut off because I could shut off work with the job I was doing, but then I would just go straight into doing homework and all of that. And it was just a really grueling season. I just value different things now where it was really tough on my mental and emotional health in that season. And I value that so much more now than I do like a piece of paper. And so it's weird kind of living in that space where I think if I had to make the decision now, I would make a different choice where I probably wouldn't get my master's degree. And at the same time, I am thankful I had it I got it because it is cool to know and have the recognition, I guess, of doing something really hard. And that was really hard. And so I think in a lot of ways it taught me what I'm capable of doing. But just because I'm capable of doing something doesn't mean that I would choose to do that. My undergrad is in psychology, and then I got my graduate degree in organizational and industrial psychology, which is basically psychological principles applied to organizations. And undergrad compared to graduate degree, two completely different experiences. My undergrad degree, I feel like I look back on it with a lot of resentment, if I'm being completely honest. I went to a university that was probably like 95% in person, and it wasn't conducive at all to people who were working full-time, like an 8-to-5 job like I was. And so that was really frustrating because it's like some of the classes that I was taking, it would be like a 130 class that I had to take for my degree, and it was just really hard. Luckily, I had support from my manager and my organization to where I could flex time to go do that, but it was really difficult. So I felt a lot of resentment because I just didn't fit the kind of standard college student that I was surrounded by, where a lot of the college students that I went to school with, they were living at the dorms, they were, working at coffee shops or restaurants at night and could be available for classes easier. And that just wasn't my case. So with my graduate program, I did it 100% online, and that was a much better fit. That was really nice to just have more like self-paced learning. I could plan my schedule a bit better to work around my work schedule. And also too, just in general, I enjoyed my graduate program a lot more because all of the classes I took were like interesting and relevant because it was like something that I was interested in. And I just hated that part of my undergrad, like paying for these classes that I had no interest in, but I needed the credits, or like it was a requirement for the major. Like that's just stupid to me, in all honesty. The other thing too that I wish I had more understanding around was the debt involved with what I was doing. I just wasn't educated on that of, okay, I'm taking out a loan for this amount of money that I will be responsible to pay back. If it was communicated to me, I don't remember it, and it wasn't in a way that really helped me understand the gravity of that. And so that's something too that it depends. I mean, you kind of have to outweigh the risk. Luckily, like Dylan and I, we didn't have a ton of student loans, and we paid them off really quickly because that was something really important to us where we wanted to get out of debt. But if you're going into a lot of debt for your education, even if it's going to be a higher paying job like a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, gosh, really consider it and really think about what that investment means and how much money that is. And one of the things that I wish I had kind of understood a bit better too was that getting an education doesn't equal everything. it really depends on what field and what role you want to go into. But honestly, getting that college degree, in my mind, it's just to show that you can do hard things. Like, there's a lot of things that I learned in college that I've forgotten up to this point. It's been more on the job experience and learning. And yeah, it's interesting. I didn't plan like what I was going to say in this video. So it's been just like honest reflections, and I'm kind of surprising myself actually with my answer. I thought that I was going to be a bit more positive of like, yeah, go get your college degree. But the more I'm thinking about it, it's like, I'm glad I did it. And at the same time, like, my worth is the same even if I hadn't done that. And that might sound kind of silly, but it's true. The other thing that I've noticed about just this journey I've been on in understanding and learning who I was created to be and what my true identity is, I relied heavily on accomplishments before to define who I was and what my worth is. And so looking back, it's kind of just interesting seeing how with conversations with people, I always held that I had a master's degree at a pretty high importance. And so I would lead conversations with that a lot of times, like, oh yeah, my background is in psychology, I have a master's in that, as a way to kind of validate that what I was about to say was important. And it's been interesting just learning more of who I am, because I don't feel the need to like validate myself with that anymore. Like, whether I have a master's degree or not, that doesn't matter. What I have to say is important, and it does matter, and what I feel matters. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool to think about that, and just how I don't have my education define me anymore like I used to. So I don't know, I guess the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is I am glad ultimately that I got my master's degree. I think it was neat to see what I was capable of, and at the same time, if I hadn't gotten it, my worth would have been the same. So, you know, if you're passionate about something or you genuinely want to learn about something, maybe that's a good route to go down, of getting your undergrad and your graduate degree. But just because you decide not to get it doesn't mean you're not valid. It means you still matter. You're still worth something, and you still have a role that you were created to do. And I don't know what that is. Maybe you don't know what that is, and maybe it's a different things for different seasons, and that's okay. So I'll leave you with that kind of vague answer of, was it worth getting my degree? I would say yes, but in my life today, I probably would have made a different choice, and that's okay. That's part of growing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited about doing more content creation, and I want to do more of it. And one way you can support that with me is by liking this video, sharing it with somebody who might find it interesting, and also subscribing to my channel. So if you want to do that to see more of this beautiful face, Ted's face, oh, sorry, bud. Then like and subscribe. And you can see more of this face too. Lydia, we want them to come back, don't scare them.